Thank you very much, Mr Deputy Speaker. The action taken by P&O Ferries today is a national scandal. It is a betrayal of the workers that have kept this country stocked throughout the pandemic. I've heard directly from the crew throughout the day, their lives upended, the jobs they depended on scrapped. Workers are now left wondering how on earth they will put food on their family's table. And the management did not even have the decency to tell them face to face. They were told this life-changing news on a pre-recorded video. There are images circulating of what we are told are handcuff-trained security, some wearing balaclavas marching British crew off their ships. This is not a corporate restructure. It's not the way we go about business in this country. It is beneath contempt, the action of thugs. It is quite simply a scandal that this Dubai-owned company, which received millions of pounds of taxpayers' money in the pandemic, without consultation and without notice, have upended the lives of 800 British workers, all while the profits of their owners, DP World, soared by 52% in the first half of 2021. We need a clear, unequivocal statement from the government. No ifs, no buts. An overseas conglomerate cannot be given free rein to sack workers in secure jobs here in Britain at the click of a button and replace them with agency staff. The government must not give the green light to this appalling practice and must act now to secure the livelihoods of these workers, not signpost them to the Department of Work and Pensions. Mr Deputy Speaker, this cannot stand. So will the Minister review any and every contract and licence the government has with P&O or DPW to maximise leverage and force them to do the right thing? DPW run 2 of the government's Freeport schemes. Will he look at terminating those contracts? Will he convene urgent talks with P&O and the unions to look immediately at what steps can be taken to safeguard these jobs? And can he confirm if the Secretary of State received notification as required under the 1992 Trade Union Act? Given neither the workers nor their unions received notification, this action is clearly illegal. So will he act immediately and ensure all those party to the decision are appropriately proceeded against? Will he join me in condemning Clyde Marine and Interserve in the role they have apparently played in today's events and investigate any action that can be taken against them? And will he outline the full extent to which other operators will be able to cover this unacceptable disruption? It is impossible to conceive that we have sufficient capacity to cover a loss of 10 days. Finally, will he look at clawing back every single penny of taxpayers' money given to P&O over the course of the pandemic? But, Mr Deputy Speaker, this must be set within a context. For far too long, this government has sat on their hands and chosen to side with bad bosses by failing to take action to outlaw fire and rehire. This is the cruel consequence of a decade of attacks on workers' rights. No more excuses. It's time for ministers to keep the promises they have made, deliver for workers' rights and outlaw fire and rehire without delay. And finally, Mr Deputy Speaker, we are an island nation. British seafaring has been and is the envy of the world. We are rightly proud of the British sailors, ratings and officers who make our fleet and whose name is known across the globe. This is a straightforward assault on British seafaring. It cannot be allowed to stand. The government must stand up, speak out and take action for these proud workers to protect their livelihoods.
Minister.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. And I thank the honourable member for her comments. She's quite right. Lives upended, jobs scrapped. My sympathy, my thoughts are wholly with those people who have this terrible news this morning. She's absolutely right. I've seen the video that she refers to. I agree. This is devastating news, and to have that played to you on a television screen rather than being told face to face is not what we expect. The way loyal, hard-working workers should be treated. Likewise, crews being marched off, she mentions. I've heard the same reports. I expect people to be treated with dignity and respect at all times throughout their employment. There are, of course, employment laws that apply. difficult for me at the moment to comment in any detail as to where that might be. I would urge anyone affected to consider legal advice, and that's clearly something they should do, and difficult for me to comment on that, particularly as this is a fast-moving situation. She asks me to review contracts that may exist. I have asked my officials to do that. I can't give her any details at the moment. I apologise, but I will be able to provide information to the House in due course if required. Conversations around free ports, of course, would have to take place across government, conversation with Treasury and the Department for Communities in particular. She asked me to convene urgent talks with the unions. I will speak to the unions this afternoon. In fact, maybe that's an initial conversation. There will be others, but I need no persuading that will happen. She's mentioned the illegality. Again, I ought not to go into this, but clearly there are a number of concerns the government has, and I would urge those to take the advice that they will need. She's asked me to give details of the operations. This is, of course, a fast-moving situation. Whilst I am assured that there is not likely to be an operations impact, I will be monitoring that closely. I can give her some more detail when I have it, and of course if there is any steps to be taken I would consider what those were. She's made a contact about context. I of course reject any suggestion that we've sided with bad bosses. I've been absolutely clear this today and on other occasions about how I expect people to be treated with respect at all times. And I've been absolutely clear about that today. That is not the way people have been treated. No one should be treated in the way that they were today. And in terms of seafarers, we will continue to do everything we can to support British seafarers, and I hope to be able to speak to the House in more detail about that in due course.
Chair of the Transport